And we are starting here on Row Rage, and we have Steak at the bottom of the map with Georgians, and Pete at the top with Magyars. So we do have Shorefish, or not Shorefish, we have Deep Fish right underneath the TC. And it's also a 6-fill start. Interesting. Ha. Now I need to think back to the Civ draft. I assume that Chinese would have been banned, obviously. No, Chinese was not banned. Why are we not picking Chinese on this map? What the fuck? We have fish under the TC and you already start with 6 vills, so then you start with 9 vills instead? Like, Chinese should be, like, cracked as hell. Very strange. This map does have some bits of shorefish, but this is walkable terrain, if I recall correctly. So, you know, man-at-arms, militia, scouts can all fuck around with your fishing ships in the early stages of the game. Were they banned? No, Chinese were not banned. Which blows my mind that they weren't banned on this map. I should pick Chinese on this map. Yes, I would. I think that Chinese should be probably the best civ for this map. Closely followed by things like Persians, Lithuanians, Georgians, who can do really fast dock starts, like we see with Steak here. Because they can, like, try to make up the vill difference by making really fast fish. But I think being, like, 2.5 vills ahead should just be better in most cases. Let's just speed up the game a little bit. He does have 5 on wood, so, oh, we're going to see both players docking the same pond. Yeah, I think, like, Magyars seems like a very, very strange pick, because you don't have any early eco bonus. Like, we see here, Georgians, they've got essentially 3 fish finished before Pete even finishes his dock. So that's a 3-vill lead for free right here for Steak. And then, arguably, his civ is better in early feudal age as well. Like, yes, Magyars get +1 attack, but the Georgian eco is absolutely cracked. And we see that he's about to click up, and Pete's only just finished his dock. Oh my lord. Yikes. I don't think this is going to be a very long game, unfortunately. We see Pete's over here scouting. Has he just not noticed that there's the dock here? Oh, he doesn't know. Okay. He knows the dock's here. He's checking to see if there's a second dock, I guess. Steak does not know that there's a dock here, but really, I don't think Steak cares. Oh no, he's going to see the fish now. But really, he's just going to do scouts, maybe a spearman or two, and he's just going to hopefully send it straight towards Pete's base, and then maybe make a fire. Or a demo to protect his pond. Steak got his map packed out with where the fish spawned. I mean, yes, they were quite close to his dock. I guess this side is also favouring the south side, so maybe that's something to keep in mind. That the fish is more likely to favour the bottom player. But, like, we're hitting fuel age a minute faster than Pete, basically. We see the stable coming up already. Fuel age scout is here to fuck with the fish. We've got a spearman as well. And Steak is 250, almost 300 rows ahead. Is Pete going to instantly open with a demo? No, we don't have the wood for it. We're going double stable. Ugh. I don't think I like that. You're going to make one scout slightly faster than you would otherwise? Like, I guess he feels like he needs the help because he's so much slower to castle age? Oh, sorry, slower to feudal age? And then why are the scouts not over here to help out? Yeah, really don't like that. I would have much preferred a demo instead of the second stable to try to blow up all the fish and reduce the eco lead that Steak has. And we see Steak already well on his way to being fully walled. We just see Pete, though, trying to go for the counter-attack. 4 scouts with +1 armor will pretty much 2-shot vills. But Steak is coming back, and he has a pretty significant army lead at this point. You know, some of it is spearmen, which aren't particularly fast, but taking some hits, he does kill another villager. But he is going to get cleaned up right now. The walls are finished, so Steak is essentially completely safe. So Steak just needs to send vills to gold. Probably stop making scouts, and he's, yeah, absolutely chilling. Just go straight up castle age, you're just going to kill with either knights or CA, or knights and CA. Ooh, nice little play there. Getting the vills on the outside of the walls, so they can't be killed by the scouts inside. Yeah, basically what Hopsy said. Like, he's only made, Like, he started out... Oh, no, there's a hole! Oh, that is a yikes. Yeah, so at the start of Fuel Age, Pete only had the food to queue up 3 scouts. So that means he made 2 out of 1 stable and 1 out of the second stable, and then the second stable was idle. So you've essentially spent 175 wood to get a 30-second advance on your third scout, which doesn't really help you that much. Like, +1 scout is very, very unlikely to win you a game, whereas making a demo and killing this fish probably also isn't going to win him the game, but it would help reduce this resource deficit that he's in right now. Right? If all 4 of the fish died, you know, that's not necessarily 100% happening. Maybe it's like 3 of the fish die, right? -3 fish, he's probably 200 less food at this point. Which, you know, he's still 1,000 resources behind at that point, but it's less of a deficit. But I think Pete probably should just GG as soon as Castle Age comes in. Because the scouts are zoning him really hard. He's only just clicked up Castle Age himself. I guess he wants to try to go for CA. No, we're not calling it. Interesting. Also, like, why are we taking this gold out here instead of this gold that's actually walled in at the back? I don't think that makes a ton of sense for Pete here. But, like, when you're under siege like this, with shit constantly happening, it's much harder to think about and make the correct decisions. But I guess maybe at that point was when the scouts came into the woodline because of the hole, so it makes a little bit more sense in that case. Do the players see each other's docks? Yes, but neither of them are doing anything about it. Go away. Go away, pop up, please. Thank you. I'm a little bit surprised that Stake hasn't really done anything. Okay, I guess that makes sense. We've got the forward siege, but we also got a fortified judge. No, that's not going to work, Pete. Yeah, it's like we've got 11 knights to 2 right now. There's the GG. Speedy game. Like, Magas is also the last pick. Well, what were the bans? Persians makes a lot of sense. But, like, oh, as I said, Chinese are still available. Lithuanians are still available. Excuse me while I just scroll down for a second while I familiarize myself with the civs. Malians are still there. Hindustanis are still there. Like, they're definitely not perfect, but I think they would be a lot better than Mangards who just don't have an eco bonus. Like, Vikings is obviously our island civ for Pete. And then we have Turks or Koreans. So we've essentially not really double picked because they aren't, like, back-to-back picks, but we've picked 2 civs in the middle of the draft for our opponent's home map instead of picking something for the neutral game 1 map, which I don't really like. Especially as both Turks and Koreans are very, very similar civs. In that they're both, you know, almost always going to be doing like a castle drop into unique unit play, and then they have the option to fast imp, they can commit to the large Castle Age army. I guess he's picked Turks, and then he's seen Snake pick Britons, and he's gone, oh shit. Longbows are pretty good against Janissaries. So he's decided to pick Koreans so that he has wagons as a potential counter. I guess that does make some sense. And then Stake's also gone, well, shit, Koreans kind of counter Britons. Let's pick Berbers because that can counter them. Only 2 relics, which is weird for liths. Yeah, that's true. But I'm more thinking you want liths for the early eco spike. And, like, +2 attack is still good in Castle Age. Like, you just don't want to let it get to Imperial Age. But if you have +4 attack in Castle Age, like, you know, the first 2 upgrades and then your 2 relics, that is hopefully enough for you to snowball the game if you're not dead in Feudal Age, basically. Go to Feudal, equal on fish, and make the cheap scouts. But letting us, like, Georgia through is a big problem. Yeah, for sure. Like, Magards is always going to be behind any good eco civ. Especially on a faster start map like this. Like, 6 fills means that you get the dock up faster, so any eco bonus that lets your dock go up faster snowballs even harder than it normally does. But let's get ourselves ready for game number 2. We're going into Brazil, a boating map for Mr. Pete. And we do have Armenians versus Vikings. The two most popular, strongest water civs that you're going to see. So it does make sense that these are the ones that are being played. How's it going? It's going pretty well. How you doing, Elsie River? Now, I think I would favour Armenians early game and then really late game, because the +1 attack on your galleys is most impactful, I feel, in those early Fuel Age fights. And then again, once you've got a big mass of numbers. But in Castle Age, I feel like the Viking Eco combined with a nice longboat switch, there's good potential right there for Vikings to get ahead, I think. Okay, G6 going out here for a dock already. He's going to build his dock ever so slightly faster than Pete, it seems. Pete is instead building a house before he builds his dock. Oh, and we're also luring a ball with the Scout. Min-maxing the build gather time as much as possible right now. I guess in theory you don't need the Scout for anything else on this map, so as long as you don't lose it and, prevent yourself from pushing in the rest of your deer, I don't mind it. I think it's pretty good. Armenians don't get shipped right anymore for late game, but I guess the extra range still makes up for it. I guess it depends if you're able to win it in early imp or not. Oh, we see Steak is actually also going for the same thing. They're both very smart players, doing these little things to try to get a small lead where they can. Yeah, I think that's a fair point, Panda. I didn't actually think about that. So, in the super late game, Vikings are going to get ahead again simply because they're going to have more wood available to make boats. Not smart tryhards. They're both up to a Fuel Age fairly similar times. A little bit more out of time for Steak than Pete. Oh, this is going to be the beautiful thing about Armenians, though. We've got this mule cart working as both a lumber camp and gold mining, saving him 100 wood. Pete is instead just going to long distance some gold. How much food? Oh, why did Steak did not need to lure that second boar? I think this is the map where you should never actually be luring a second boar in Dark Age. You should be saving that for your Fuel Age food. Because, like, one boar plus all the deer, like, you want to do the deer luring because that requires far more APM, in my opinion, than boar luring does. Ugh, I don't like that dock. I guess it gives him access to, like, these fish at the back if he's really worried about losing them. There's not enough gold to wood ratio to make galleys with all the wood on your island. Is there not? You've got like 12k gold versus 50k? That seems like fairly close to the, I think he just deleted that scout because he got housed, probably. No, he didn't even get housed. He just killed it. Okay, fair enough. I don't think that's a good idea. I think if you're not housed, you should keep your scout alive, because you could see these galleys coming around, which then tells you where their army is, Gives you some extra information. But, oh, we do see State getting a little bit trapped here. Also, we're only just getting in fletching. Now, we do actually have a 1.5 field lead already. Oh, Pete's housed. Yikes. We just see the market already coming up, though, for Mr. Pete. No market yet. Also, no mill yet. Steak. So Steak's actually going to struggle a little bit to get himself up to the perfect Castle Age time. And we see here Pete instantly selling stone, buying a little bit of food. He's going to be going for that fast 18, 19 minutes sort of Castle Age time. I'm going to need to ban, so practice this, because Fez is definitely picking boating versus me. I mean, I think that if you're not someone who's comfortable with boating and you're against someone who is, you should be banning Brazil and letting them pick islands and then going for a landing on islands. Like, obviously, this is not legal advice. You should make your own decisions. But if you don't think you can win in a straight-up boating war, then just don't let yourself get into it, you know? That would be the best situation I have. We do have 3 docks versus 3, but Stake has got a bit of a lead already in pure numbers, but Pete is going to have a minute faster castle age time. So the question is Stake going to be aggressive enough to try to snipe some of these boats before they get their upgrades? There's also advice with Fez literally in the chat. Fez, I won't land you on islands, I promise, bro, okay. I mean, that's kind of why I'm happy enough to say it, because you're both here. I think you should just not be a coward. I mean, I am someone that does enjoy boating, but I would not willingly get myself into a boating battle with, like, Bill or Pete. I think Pete knows that from many, many times when we've practiced 1v1 islands, where I'm just like, you know, fuck it, I'm just gonna land you. We do see Stake having a little bit better of these engagements right now, but now that the War Galley upgrade is in, Pete has the potential to, like, just completely nuke this dock, hopefully before he's able to get the numbers, before he gets the upgrades. He doesn't actually have War Galley yet. War Galley a little bit delayed right now. Losing a dock is actually really, really powerful at this stage of the game. I mean, you've got to spend 150 wood to replace it, right at the time when you want to be getting your Union Ballistics. Is Pete does have Ballistics? Yep, Ballistics coming in right now. We do have 2 boats sitting over here patrolling. Like, that could just be a scout, right? Pete has a scout somewhere? Yeah, instead of Pete's scout sitting in his wood line, his scout could be sitting here on the edge of the water. And then that could do the same job that those 2 galleys are doing. But now we're trying to go around the back. We do have war galleys, like those. Sorry, we do have ballistics, so these 2 should be able to snipe these fish really easily if they can get on top of them. We do have the big water fight coming in here, which is not the most exciting thing to see in the game. Just people microing back and forth, but Pete is starting to get ahead now. The discount that the Vikings have starting to come into effect now. He has killed 1 fish, and the galleys just floated completely past and missed the other ones, unfortunately. A little bit too far away from this wood line, I think, to actually be able to harass that. And we actually see a 5th dock coming out for Stake. Actually, we've got a 6th dock coming out for Pete. Interesting. I thought that Pete would be more likely to go for a fast imp sort of play, but I guess he doesn't really have the food eco to do that. We do have careening coming in. Oh, and we're stuck in the blacksmith. Not the best position for Pete to take fights. And he really does need to have a numbers advantage against Armenians if he wants to take a straight-up fight without the possibility for big micro-engagements, where you can dodge side to side. So the open spaces probably favour Pete a little bit more at this stage, whereas closed fights help Stake more because his boats are just straight-up better. When should Vikings switch to longboats? I would say as early as possible, but the problem is that while you're making the switch, it becomes so much harder to micro your boats, because, like, the biggest benefit of longboats over war galleys is that they're faster and they stack better. But that's completely irrelevant if you've got them mixed in with war galleys, right? So you kind of want your war galleys to die off without taking horrendously bad trades, which is very, very difficult. It's like, I would only do it if you take, like, a massive fight where both of you essentially go down to, like, 10 boats. And then it's essentially both of you are starting from scratch again. I think that would be the best time to make the longboat switch. Both players only having, like, 5 or 6 wheels on food. So we're not actually going to see Imp anytime soon unless... Oh, actually, those wheels on food for Stake are actually just farmers. Oh, sorry, they're just hunters. Doesn't actually have any farms set up just yet. Transport? But you're gonna try to pick up these relics? I mean, I guess that makes sense. Free Goldingham, pretty nice. Definitely does mitigate the wood issue that you're gonna have by not having shipwright if the game does go long enough. But we see here that Pete basically hasn't made a villager for you know, 3 minutes or something. Now clicking up to Imperial Age. But he is, like, 10, 15 boats behind right now. Oh, this is going to be difficult. Is Steak just going to be able to kill all the docks before he gets to Imperial Age? That might be the case right now. It is always difficult, though, to fight amongst your opponent's docks. Like, we see here a couple of the boats at the back getting stuck on the boat, stuck on the docks instead of shooting the galleys. But the numbers... Yeah, we just see the longboat switch starting to come in. It looks like, nope, just cancelled. We're going for demos instead. Demos out of this dock is also very, very scary when you get stacked up on top of them. Yeah, nearly amp. Is he going to have the food eco to get all the upgrades that he needs, though, right? Because at this point, he needs to get Galleon, and Bracer, and Chemistry, so he needs, like, 700 food. No, more than that. 600, like, almost 1,000 food, I think, for all the upgrades. Or is Galleon just wooden gold? I actually don't... He won't get Galleon? I mean, I think he should get Galleon. Because he has so many war galleys, and he hasn't made a longboat switch. We just still have 11 boats. I don't think that Steak should be retreating right now. Because he's nowhere near going in himself. But he has the numbers advantage right now. But if he lets Pete have time to get the upgrades, he can start to take superior fights with the extra range that he has. Bracer Cam longboat switch. I mean, if that's the case, then he should be making longboats already. Oh, we just see one of them queued up. Oh! Hopsy calls it. He calls the longboat switch. Galleon has 400 food, 315 wood. Ah! Oh yeah, I thought it was food, but I couldn't remember if it was wood or gold. Yeah, and like, here is the difficult part where the boats all just get intertwined and you don't get the benefit of being a longboat. Like, you almost want to split them into two separate groups and take fights, like, in two different control groups separately. So, like, the war galleys coming from one side, the longboats from the other. But we do still have big numbers advantage. Well, not that big. We've got 10 extra boats for Steak versus better upgrades for Pete. And we do have the 6 relics. I think the problem with having the church here in the middle, though, is that if any time he gets pushed back to, like, docks on this section, then this church just gets killed pretty quickly. Although I guess the extra arrows from the church maybe helps him defend. I guess there's, like, pros and cons on either side. I do think that Steak is in a very, very tough position right now. He needs to take a winning fight, I think, in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe not even 10 minutes. Like, the next 5 minutes really is it. Otherwise, I think Pete should be able to just micro him down in the long run and just continue to use his superior boats. Well, I say that, and Steak's actually taking a pretty good fight here. He's microing well, doing the dodging tricks at the front. KD, though, is basically dead equal for both players right now. But Pete's army is now almost entirely on longboats. And he is actually stacking up quite a bit of food, so maybe we're going to see Elite Longboat sometime in the near future. He does need a little bit more gold income, but he's not that far away from getting it. A felling stone. We've actually bought quite a lot of food, okay. Yeah, we're not that far away. There we are. Elite Longboat. Once Elite Longboat comes in, I think the game should be pretty over. As long as he has, you know, a reasonable mass of longboats coming in, which, you know, 30-odd is pretty decent. Although saying that, the numbers from Steak are pretty impressive right now. Huge Castle Age fight. Huge Castle Age flood versus the Imperial Age upgrades. Yeah, the problem now is that Pete can't even use, like, these 4 docks on the bottom. Because any units that come out are just going to get instantly ganked by all of his boats. Pete should delete these war galleys so he can micro longboats. No! No, I wouldn't do anything as silly as that. Oh, we do have redocking on the side. And the longboats are coming in trying to kill off the reinforcements, kill off the fish as well. This is the important fight, which Steak is actually going to win quite convincingly here. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Just stack up some demos inside the docks. Even just like leaving a longboat inside so that there's the garrison flag should make Steak second guess what his plans are, right? Because like he sees like there could be a demo here, he doesn't want to get too close just in case it pops out. He is now assigned a full sender on this side. Pete might actually just run out of gold. So I guess neither was correct. Maybe there is not enough gold compared to the wood. Thanks to the 6 relics, giving him 3,000 extra gold right now. Which is almost, the vast majority of the eco lead that he has at the moment. 60 boats versus only 30. Steak might actually be taking this game. Especially, like, these docks come over here. These boats come here and kill these 2 docks, deny these 2 wood lines. Pete's gonna have a lot of problems pretty soon. Right, we see the demos being created again. The problem is, like, you need the demos created ahead of time. So that when this happens, you're able to pop out and get the explosions. Because by the time you start creating them and then finish creating them, Steak has had enough time to react and bail. Castle is getting a little bit of damage in. I assume that he's not going to be able to afford to do Volsliga. That's like 700 food, I think. And also, he just doesn't have the gold income. He actually has... He's completely run out of gold at this point. Yikes. That's actually a problem. That's a little bit of problem having no gold income. I guess Steak also is running into resource problems back at home. He's got no gold himself. He's also chopped through a lot more of his wood, it looks like. I guess in theory, Steak does have control of the middle island, so he does have that extra wood boost there if he needs it. Horse color coming in. Like, the wood sell is actually still at a pretty reasonable price, right? Getting, like, almost, like, 80% gold back? Pretty decent. And now that the numbers are starting to drop for Steak, I feel like there is pretty good potential right now for Pete to just win this with numbers and upgrades. Yeah, Steak had to go full Castle Age to begin with because he was nowhere near clicking imp once Pete had hit it. But I think continuing at Castle Age for this long... I mean, he looked like he was winning for, like, most of the game. And then all of a sudden he's just run into resource problems. And now... they got equal numbers and Pete just has significantly better boats. Like, it's just not even funny how much better elite longbows are versus Castle Age War Galleys. Especially if Pete's able to get, like, 1 or 2 longboats around the back here to harass this wood line. Okay, yeah, now the wood sell price is getting to the point where it's a bit unmanageable. But we do still have almost 5,000 free gold for Steak right here. That's the main thing keeping him still in this game at this point. But I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold on long enough for the infinite gold to really catch up to the amount of wood that Peter saved. Look at these beautiful longboats. Oh, we've also got a cannon galleon. Nice. Yes, kill the church. Kill the church! No! Come back! Come back! Oh. You were in a very, very safe position over there. Maybe you should have stayed there. Yeah, longboats are by far the best water unit, just because of how pretty their tails are. There's no contest there. And now Steak just can't keep up. GG. Pete has more and better boats. Yep, indeed. That's correct, Riley. Current position is safer. I mean, right now it is when Steak has 0 boats, but if we go back, like, a minute's time, when he first started to go that way, like, Pete's retreating, if Steak just dived in there and killed it, then that would be a bit of a problem. In my humble opinion. We'll go back, we'll take a look at the civs. I mean, here's the Vikings, the first pick for both players. I think it's a little bit interesting that Pete did first pick Vikings after seeing Steak pick Armenians. I guess he runs into a problem where Steak maybe just wastes his third pick on Vikings just to deny it from Steak, to deny it from Pete. I guess that's a possibility. But then I guess like you would hope that his civs are like Georgians and Turks at this point, so then he has a much better matchup in game one. And then Stake has like Britons and Vikings, which then I guess that's difficult because then you got a pretty good chance at losing your home map if you don't have Vikings or Italians. So I guess I can't criticize him too much. Oh, that was pretty solid. Pete taking a game off Stake, who was one of the best players in this tournament. Although, saying that, Pete is one of the best water players. Unexpected error encountered in the application. What does that mean? Capture Age? Okay, let's close Capture Age and reopen it. Yeah, Capture Age doesn't want to start. What's up with that? Oh, no, here we go. It's just taking a while, that's all. I think that, like, the civs here, like, Britons beat Turks, but Koreans beat Britons, but Berbers beat Koreans, but Turks maybe kind of beat Berbers. So, I think both players are just fully into the mind games right here as to what they think their opponent is going to pick. And we see here that Stake has gone for Britons and Pete has gone for Koreans. So in theory, Pete does have the better civ right now. Because wagons should be much, much better against longbows. I think the problem is that the Britons are going to have significantly stronger eco. Right? I mean, I guess there's not that many cows. I say that you got 7. So you got 7 buffalo, which is actually a lot more than the normal 8 sheep. So it does actually help Britons. Ooh, really? Why would you do that, Stake? Why would you not just go for the standard send a villager and lure 2 boars? That seems... I'm not a fan of that play. Not a fan at all. Wasting that much scout HP to get a boar when you can quite easily just take the boar with a villager? I don't like that at all. I've been scout luring the elephants in practice too. It's a long walk time. I mean, it's basically the same distance, like just looking at it with my eyes, not actually measuring it, as it is in team games on Zimbabwe. And almost everybody was luring boar with villagers on Zimbabwe. Like, maybe you have to do loom, but I think loom in exchange for, like, an early loom at, like, 10 pop, in exchange for 3 extra boar is pretty good. I mean, I have not practiced this map. Yeah, fair. We'll just delete these comments so that he doesn't see it in the VOD. I mean, yeah, a vill you should be able to comfortably take 2 boars if they're close to each other, and you can always go back and get a 3rd one. The problem is, the later that you take the boar, the more likely it is that a scout is going to come along and try to lame you, right? But for some reason, Stake is scouting up here instead of coming down here to try to kill a vill. Like, we could have also, like, taken this boar first, gone on this diagonal, then taken that second boar and then gone back to the TC. But it's not the end of the world to go like this. But if the scout is full HP, then yeah, that does make it difficult. Which is why I don't like this play from Stake. Like, your scout is weak, so you can't actually stop Pete taking the boar, which means that Pete gets... Well, in theory, Pete should be able to comfortably get at least 3 boar, while Stake only has 1. And I guess Stake can push in some deer, so that's maybe... He pushes all 3 of the deer, that's equal to 1 of the boars, but he's still a boar behind and 30 HP on his scout, for no apparent reason. Scouts are useful for scouting, makes sense. Exactly. Scouts are useful for a lot of things. Like, I would much prefer to take 3 boar than to push the 3 deer. Honestly. Like, the deer are nice, but it's so much more fiddly pushing these deer when they can be so far away on such weird angles, so far away from the gates. I think luring the boar should be the better proposition for most players, assuming you're comfortable taking a ball and blocking a ball, like long distance. As long as you're capable of doing this, I think this should be the better play most of the time. But then, like, as we say, if your opponent really wants to fuck with you, then they just send their scouts straight over here and they try to lame you when you're taking the ball back. Which is why I would strongly consider getting an early loom just to try to minimize the chance of that happening. But we are now in late feudal age stage. Neither player is going for a trush, which is not too surprising. Like, Pete still has 2 extra balls. Like, he's 2 starting balls that he's able to take whenever he wants to. Okay, we're going 23 pop. That is a beautiful mining camp, I must say. Access to gold and stone. Okay. Doing some little panic walls right here. Yeah, I feel like that was... Oh! Bit of a oopsie. But like with this sort of an uptime, it feels like Stake is trying to boom it out. And just hope that the wagons don't deal a ton of damage. So I wouldn't be surprised if he sends 1 villager to gather, you know, like 100 stone on the way to castle. Stone all these sides, build a TC at the back on the wood line, and probably a TC here between the gold and the wood line. And then keep building extra houses and whatnot along the walls to try to prevent a petard bust in. Market, blacksmith. I'm not a fan of this blacksmith position. I feel like building it on the sides or the front makes the most sense. Because, again, as I say, you should be stonewalling the back at some point between your walls and the wood line. So this wall, like using this blacksmith as a wall, isn't really relevant. Because you don't expect to be attacked from the backside. Although maybe you do. Maybe that's your thing, but... that shouldn't be the plan, I think. Stake is re-walling that corner over there. Makes a lot of sense. He doesn't have the villas at the back yet for a TC there. So is he just going to build 2 TCs inside his... Nope. There we go. And this is where having a weak scout makes life a hell of a lot more difficult. Like, yes, you know, this many vills can kill a scout, but if you're not paying attention, like, Pete's able to do all sorts of distractions right now, forces the loom out, just because he doesn't have his scout on the HP needed to defend himself. And then we just see 2 TCs and the monastery. Has he scouted any other relics? No, he has not. So that's purely just to have some monks to defend from the war wagons that are going to be coming in soon. I feel like Pete could have gone for a forward castle right now. I don't know if he's seen the scout and knows that it's on low HP, but seeing an instant TC at the back like that with no loom, and then hopefully he noticed that he did get loom, probably means that there's not a lot going on right now for Stake. So he could have built the castle like right in his face. The relics are always in the same spot? Yeah, that's true. They are always in the corners. But like the difference between this relic, which is very, very easy to get, and like this one that's like stuck in between the wood lines, it's a little bit of a problem. Right, because it makes it that much more difficult to do the relic collecting part, right? If you can already see the relic, then you can just right-click on it and then shift-click back to the monastery. Whereas, instead you have to click in this general area, remember to micro back to the monk once it's seen the relic. Pete does need to open with petards. Yeah, there you just see the first petard, hopefully second petard coming in soon. I mean, I do have a forward siege workshop coming in. But I feel like Stake is doing quite a masterful job at defending this right now. Oh, and the wagons aren't here to defend. Is this monk just going to convert this ville? Yes, indeed. Siege workshop denied. Does anyone know where the relics spawn on this map? I have no idea whatsoever, Ronnie. Please help me. There we are. We're just charging underneath the TC. The problem is that there is enough space in the TC. There's a perfect amount of space. All 15 villas fit in. So there was no villas there free to be killed. Unfortunate. We have 3 petards. Oh boy. What is that conversion doing? Oh, okay. The gate is down. I repeat, the gate is down. We need to use 3 petards to kill a gate, though. What happened there? Let's rewind real quick. Oh, it's because we've gone uphill. Yikes. I did not realize that that's how that works. I definitely would have made that mistake if I was playing this without practicing. I wonder if you can come in from like the side angle and get the gate right in the corner and not be uphill. All the walls are uphill on this map? Really? Is this not flat? Huh. I guess I never actually did petards in team games on Zimbabwe and GB Draft. I was always like fucking around with the flank person with my unique units. Huh. Okay. I learned something new today. Oh, one conversion in pretty quick. I think Pete probably needs to get devoted if he wants to commit to the wagon player and not add any eco at this point. That is a TC of all time. Once the wood line is basically entirely chopped. Oof, no, don't lose the ram. Oh, that's unfortunate. Right, we're sending all the vills. This is a... I don't think I'm winning this game, so I need to build a castle in your face sort of castle. But, oh my god, he got absolutely fucking bazoned. Oh my god. Steak. Oh no. I don't think this castle goes up. I mean, there is a large number of villages, but there are 2 mangonels? Oh no. Oh. Yikes. That was very well played by Steak. Just go back. How many monks does he have? He's got 5 monks right here. I think he ends up with 6 war wagons. So he has a 6th monk from somewhere, like it's another conversion. He's got 5. 6. Yeah, like that's just GG on the spot there. Like losing half of your army to monks is just yeah. Never send the UU in, let him convert the bills. I mean, the problem is like the wagons don't actually do anything to stop this castle, right? So as long as Steak doesn't waste his conversions on the bills, like the 2 mangonels and the castle stop this by himself anyway. Like, the wagons is just extra juice afterwards. Yeah, I think this first castle should have been forward, because then he also doesn't need those 3 petards, right? And that's 180 food that he could instead spend on devotion, which maybe is enough to keep him in it. It also means like a forward castle means this monastery and the siege workshop have to be built further backwards. I wonder how quickly Steak built that monastery. I guess he would be able to see that the castle was here, so he just wouldn't build it here. It'd be further back. Yeah. That eco KD. Yeah. 25-0. Brutal domination. Pete set the whole barn and didn't manage to get the castle up. Denied it. Not even 80%. Feels bad, man.